Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about the Mean Girls. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Hey Pathra, love your videos. I have a story that's been on my mind for some time. I do want to preface this by saying nobody, including myself, is in the right here. This is the recounting of a man-child who can't handle his emotions, but also dealing with petty bickering that quickly became a much bigger problem. So at around the beginning of Endwalker, I had left my first FC that I had joined with my friend from WoW, and we end up leaving due to the FC becoming inactive. So she had moved to a different server and took a hiatus while I stayed in Mateus and looked around for another FC to join. I looked on the FC recruitment Discord and see an FC that is recruiting, so I messaged the FC leader. I'm gonna call her Moya, and we hit it off very well, but I did notice in the rules section of the Discord there was a no snowflaking rule. I chalked it up to basically mean the same as no drama, so I try to follow it. No snowflaking rule. What does that even mean? No snowflaking rule. We end up doing all kinds of content together, and we seem to get along. Until she invites two other people, Mandy and Sith. Mandy was a professional artist, and we began to hit it off fairly well. She even helped me and gave me advice since I am an artist too, but not exactly at a professional level. At first, all three of us start to get along and start silly bantering and poke fun at each other. But then, after a few weeks, I notice the banter getting more and more personal and more mean-spirited. I confront Sith about how the banter is becoming more personal on her end, and she basically tells me she just likes to mess with people and that hurting my feelings is the last thing she wants to do. Mandy, on the other hand, wanted none of that, and she doubled down on the insults. I brushed most of them off as jokes, but I did start to get this feeling that they did not like me at all or found me annoying. But every time I bring it up and ask, they tell me, no, don't worry about it, it's fine. So I apologize and move on. Things start to calm down after Mandy takes a break for a few weeks. So it's just me and Moya mainly hanging out. I start to dabble in the RP scene on Mateus a bit more since I had finished the MSQ and spent most of my time with the RP tag on. I land a job at a venue that was indeed an 18+ venue. I was a dancer there, aka a stripper. The OP says that herself, okay? That's not me, aka a stripper. I try to keep all not safe for work things like ERP and the like as private as possible because I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. But Moya quickly figured out what I was doing and would make fun of me in the FC chat every time I had the RP tag on. Aw, that's not very nice. I laughed it off at first, but after a while, it did start to annoy me a little, so I told her the jokes made me uncomfortable. And she basically tells me to shut up and get over it. Thinking I am in the wrong, I apologize and tell her I won't get triggered over her jokes anymore. Oh my goodness, wait, why? It's like she's just submitting defeat already, you know? Even though she doesn't like the jokes. After a while, things calm down again until Mandy returns. And I'm not sure what I said or did, but Mandy immediately started to be way meaner than before, hurling all kinds of insults and roasts at my expense. And when I went to DM her about how it was making me uncomfortable, she basically tells me to stop being so sensitive. Sith also started to become just as hostile towards me. I get this gut feeling that someone is talking behind my back. So I went to Moya about it and told her that I know they are talking about me behind my back. She pretty much tells me that no one is talking about you and that I was conceited for thinking that. At the time, I start to think, maybe I really am being too sensitive and conceited. And I apologized again. Man, they are just getting their way with OP because OP just keeps apologizing. Like, oh, they're like gaslighting her to thinking that it's her fault. Looking back, I should have just left then and there, but the reason I stayed was because I genuinely thought these people were my friends, or people that I needed to prove my worth to. Prove your worth to? Like it's a game or some competitive thing? That's strange. Even though I got verbally assaulted in voice chat, we would still hang out and do content together. Things were awesome when I wasn't in the voice chat. It started to become more and more clear that I was not wanted, so I was getting ready to leave the FC until Mandy and I start fighting in /tells. After I say, "I am not a stripper," I snap, "I am an entertainer." Credit to Gabrielle Iglesias, LOL. And Mandy attacks me in tells, saying, "Nobody cares about you or what you are doing. Nobody hates you or is talking about you. Grow the F up. Nobody has time for your childish bullshit." Oops, I swore. I was gonna say BS, but I just like read it out as bullshit. After this, it was obvious that it was time to leave, and that Moya was indeed talking about me behind my back. Feeling betrayed, hurt, and gaslit, I tear down my FC room and quit the FC and leave the Discord. Soon after, within the same day, Moya comes to me acting surprised that I left and asks me why, and she was willing to listen if I needed to vent. I tell her everything in a long drawn-out chat, which included a lot of personal stuff that I was going through at the time. About an hour later, I send a friend request to Sith. Since her and I seemed to get along, I thought, you know, that's weird. I thought like if she thought they were friends, I'm surprised that she wasn't already friends with Sith. Or so I thought, until she told me to keep my personal shit to myself and stop dumping my baggage onto Moya. Feeling absolutely mortified, I immediately start apologizing to Moya. Literally a second after this, I get a message on Discord from Sith. And of course, you didn't listen to a fucking thing I said. Stop getting Moya to baby you. And then I was blocked on Discord. Okay, so she was blocked by Sith. Now, it's even more obvious Moya was broadcasting my vents to the FC members, and they saw everything. She took things I said to her in confidence and used them to fuel drama against me. Even after all this, I waited for the drama to blow over and I go crawling back to them. Why? I have no idea. I think it was because I still saw them as friends and I was being an asshole, so I went back to them and apologized. No, OP, stop! This is like torture hearing this. I was only in the Discord and not in the FC at this time, and we played other games for a bit until that gut feeling came back again. I didn't say anything. I just left the Discord and played solo for a while. What gut feeling came back? That her so-called friends haven't changed and are still going to be shitty towards her? About a month passes, and a friend of mine who was still in the FC told me that they were being mistreated, lied to, and gaslit by the leaders just as much as I was. Now I'm fuming. You come at me with that and I'll probably think it was my fault and deserved it, which I'm sure I did. But you come at my friends? Oh, hell no, we are done. And I went and said exactly that to the FC leaders through Discord, plus many cuss words that I don't want to repeat here. Not saying I am in the right either. I should have not ignored all the glaringly obvious red flags and should have left long before it got so out of hand. To this day, I don't know why I stayed for so long in that FC when I found myself questioning everything. I felt like I was going insane in my own head and that it was my fault. I was too immature to deal with my issues head on, so I did dump them on to people who I thought were my friends. Even if they were, it was still a shitty thing to do. That I genuinely feel bad for, and I'm kicking myself for doing that. But if someone says to you, I am here if you need to vent, and then use that as dirt against you, they are not your friend. A lesson I should have learned much earlier in life, but I'm glad I learned it now. If there is any good ending to this story, it's that I came out of it with a sturdier spine. That FC is a cancerous tumor on one of the most loving, respectful, and welcoming communities on the internet that I've been in. I am in a much better place now mentally, but I would be lying if I didn't come out of it mentally scarred. The end. God, that, like, reading that just sounds like hell. Like, being in that kind of friend group and just like, you keep going back and back. It's like, oh no, stop already, please. You're torturing yourself. They don't even want you there. Like, oh no. And they were gaslighting her. What server is this? Oh, I wish I knew, but sometimes the OP does not state what server it is, you know, for their protection. Betrayal is painful. Yeah, like bad friends. I think we've all learned this somewhere in our lives, like each of us, whether it was in school or video games, we've all had them. And it's just a learning experience. And if you're having a hard time telling if your friends are truly your friends, like try to weigh out the pros and cons with them. And if you're feeling more bad than good with these set of people, then they're probably just not good for you and something needs to change, right? Or try get advice from an outsider or like a third-party perspective and just like tell them what you're experiencing, and then maybe like they can tell you like, that's not friend material, get yourself out of there. Like only if you're having a hard time like deciphering it, like you just have a hard time reading people. Yeah, and like sometimes people make this mistake of being friends with the wrong people because they just want to fit into a group. And I think OP sort of mentioned that in the story, right? They just like, I don't know why I stayed and stuff, but like, I think it just sounds like they saw this set of people that kind of looked cool at first. And they were like, I wanna join that group. And they ended up being really, really bad. They just wanted to fit in. It was like into the wrong kind of group. But yeah, life lessons. You learn, you get better and better at seeing who is good for you and who isn't good for you. I've gotten a couple of these stories actually in Final Fantasy XIV. The bad friends or friend category. That a whole toxic puddle. I'm glad OP left. Yeah. It's like if you feel like you just don't fit in with a certain group in the game, just leave. Dragging it out is just more painful for you. But of course, it's not always easy to tell. Like I won't deny that it's not an easy thing to recognize. But once you start seeing it, even a little bit, you gotta like make that decision. Okay, let's see what chat said. Oh, you were asking for the location of the house. Oh my god, I thought you were asking for the location of the story, of like the story I was reading. I was like, I don't know where it is. Sorry. We're on Primal, Leviathan, Shirogane. It's pinned in the chat. Damn, for the first story, we need some names for real. I like this is so funny when people say that in the YouTube comments. Spill the names out. We need to blacklist them right now. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy XIV drama story. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra. And a big thank you to my kind members who support my YouTube content.